Alright, folks, it's time to take a look at the big picture. Let's go over what we learned in Lesson Sequence 1. We talked about culture. Particularly, we talked about anthropology, the study of people and cultures. We talked about the characteristics of culture, both the seen and unseen. We learned some new principles regarding culture. Before I leave, I'm going to introduce you to some of the perils of cultural observation, and that's the dangers associated with studying culture. And then we're going to take a look ahead to what you can expect coming up in the rest of Unit 2. I'm going to leave you with some links and some activities to extend what we've learned here. So you're on your way to anthropology. You are becoming an anthropologist, using artifacts to study the origins and development of human societies both now and in the past. You'll do more of this throughout Unit 2. You also had a chance to not only learn, but practice applying the two types of characteristics of culture. Those are the seen and unseen characteristics, including the seen: communication, daily life, material evidence, traditions and heritage, artistic expression, and groups and institutions, as well as the unseen: religious beliefs, political values, social values, economic values. Just remember, seen characteristics of culture are things that you can observe. You can see them, you can taste them, you can touch them, you can hear them. Unseen characteristics of culture are more like ideas, values, beliefs, things that occur in your mind, a way of thinking. You also added on to what you learned in the 6th grade. You have 5 new principles of culture. These new principles are in addition to the ones that you learned in 6th grade. They are: culture reflects beliefs and values. Culture is changed by inside and outside forces. Cultural change may be accepted or resisted. Societies have both an ideal and a real culture, and culture may unite or divide people. Let's think about how culture reflects beliefs and values. Some cultures are based upon a religion. Even the government and the laws and the way that people are punished reflects religious beliefs and values. Culture is also changed by inside and outside forces. Think of the way that people coming to the United States from other countries have affected the culture of the United States. Sometimes new political groups rise up from within the country. Sometimes people from other countries bring their culture and heritage to the United States, and it reflects the greater American culture. Cultural change may be accepted or resisted. Think about what a large part of our culture technology is. Some people are very hesitant to use things like email, cell phones, and the internet. That's an example of how cultural change can be accepted or resisted. Societies have both an ideal and a real culture. What this means is they have ideals, the way that they want it to be, and a real culture, the way things actually are. And lastly, culture may unite or divide people. Think about elections. A lot of times you're voting for a cultural way of life. You may support ideas of a candidate. You may disagree with a candidate. You may disagree with people that support that candidate. More simply put, think about how we have loyalties to our sports teams. You might be a fan of one team, and you might not get along with fans of another team. You want to see your team do well, and you kind of like it when the other team doesn't do as well. Lastly, there are some perils associated with cultural observation. Another word for peril is danger. So think about it this way. When you're generalizing about other cultures, you should include multiple perspectives to avoid stereotypes. If you're only looking at things one way or only getting one opinion or viewing one source, you'll never get the full picture of what a culture truly is. and you may run the risk of stereotyping people, which is saying that all people from one culture are this way, or all people from another culture are that way. It is good to get to know other cultures so that you can have a greater appreciation for the world we live in and the people that occupy it. But it is important to get multiple perspectives. Alright, you guys, that's the big picture. Check the links below so you can get a head start on the next unit. And make sure if you have any questions, drop a comment at the bottom of the page. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you at the next lesson sequence.